Hey guys, Laura here from NZPocketGuide.com, and in today's video, taken from New Zealand's biggest gap year, where we did 365 days of 365 activities all around New Zealand, we are checking out the Te Anau Bird Sanctuary. A really awesome place to check out. See the video and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And at the end of the video, we're going to go through some of the comments and questions you guys had the first time around when we published the video. See you at the end. Today we are doing one of the awesome free things to do in Te Anau, which is the Te Anau Bird Sanctuary. And before we even get to the sanctuary, we're already seeing some native birds in the trees around Lake Te Anau.
We are taking the very short 10-minute Te Anau walkway, which basically follows the lake shore and takes us from the Fiordland National Park Centre, which is where you get all the information about the area, to the Bird Sanctuary.
So just behind me is a statue of Quentin McKinnon, which was a surveyor in 1800, and he was the first guy that actually made his way through land from Te Anau all the way down to Milford Sound. So basically, he's the one that created the Milford Track, the world famous hiking trail, because the Milford Track now follows his very route between Te Anau to Milford Sound. So that guy.
We do get distracted quite a lot along the way by both statues, signs, and also by beautiful Lake Te Anau, which is actually the largest lake in the South Island.
The views are amazing, and we just can't help but spend some time in this amazing environment at the end of the jetty. We are looking at the marvellous lake around us with its deep, dark waters, and we're having a look for eels underneath the jetty as well. And then we head straight back onto the walkway to make our way to the bird sanctuary.
The Te Anau Bird Sanctuary has somewhat really funny opening hours. It only states that it's open from dawn to dusk. So it turns out that we arrive right on time and the bird sanctuary is already opened. The first thing that greets us is a huge amount of ducks. I mean, there is all kind of ducks. There is a nursery, there are some ponds, there are some ducks which are free, there are some ducks which are between enclosure, and we are straight away almost attacked by a bunch of ducklings.
Those ducklings are so cute, and there's really a huge array of different species of ducks here. There's the introduced ones like the mallard ducks and the Canadian geese, but we also get the chance to see the paradise shell duck, which is a native duck here in New Zealand. Although we are not feeding the ducks, they are really getting up in our grill. But next we are moving on to the kaka enclosure.
The South Island kaka are a very interesting bird. They are nationally vulnerable and they have kept a lot of their primitive features because they have left a lot of their life separated from all the other bird species because they live in very remote places on the South Island.
These kaka are being kept here as part of breeding programs so that they can release species of kaka back into the wild and then boost the populations. And that's why many of the birds are kept here at the Te Anau Wildlife Sanctuary, as well as injured birds as well that get released back into the wild once they have been rehabilitated.
This place is absolutely awesome. It's really great to see a conservation program right in action. Those birds are the fathers and mother of most of the native birds released by the Department of Conservation here in New Zealand. It's really cool. Next up, we are moving to another species of native parrot here in New Zealand, which is the parakeet or kakariki, which means green parrot in Maori. I'll let you guess why.
There are 5 different species of parakeet, which you can tell by the colours of the crowns on their heads. But we are learning far more about the parakeet from a volunteer Department of Conservation worker who is feeding the parakeet right now. She's telling us about the life cycle of the parakeet and actually showing us to one of the more rare species of birds in a nearby enclosure.
I am so stoked to learn that they have a dwarf owl called a moorpork. This is one of the rarest birds that you can find in New Zealand and probably my favorite one. We hear them all the time at night, but we never get to see them. We move on pretty quickly from the enclosure because we do not want to disturb this nocturnal bird, and we are now on the hunt for takahe. At first it's pretty hard to spot them because they are really well hidden. In fact, this bird is actually very rare in New Zealand. They only have 347 of them. There are so few of them that they were thought to be extinct and were rediscovered in 1948.
The takahe are super fascinating. They look totally prehistoric with their blue feathers, red face and large bodies, and they're actually flightless birds as well. They are only found naturally in the Fiordland National Park, and the Fiordland National Park is something we're going to be learning more about tonight at the Fiordland Cinema back in Te Anau. It's only about $10 to watch this 30-minute film about Fiordland National Park. And also there's loads of different ducks that are just keen to get all up in your grill. I don't really know what to say. They just get close to you and they don't care. They get intimate and you're like, I don't really feel the same way, duck. Get away.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video and enjoyed watching the experience of this really underrated attraction in New Zealand. Of course, there's a lot of sort of bird sanctuaries around the country you usually have to pay to go to, but this one is a really cool one, a really cool rehabilitation centre for native birds. And yeah, it's free to go to. It's on the main sort of tourist route around New Zealand. If anyone's going to Milford Sound, you can easily go check it out. And yeah, did I mention it's free? Really awesome. So let's have a look at the comments that we had the first time round when we published the video. We have Why in the World saying, I love those paradise shell ducks. We have them here in Christchurch. The Maori name for them is Putangi, which means very noisy. The male paradise ducks are quite loud and aggressive. Yes, we actually have seen a lot of paradise shell ducks as we've been traveling around New Zealand since then, and you can always usually hear them before you see them. They don't like it when people sort of come close to them, and they seem to warn each other about people approaching, so even from afar. So yeah, you always hear those beautiful paradise shell ducks. We have Southern Mapping saying, I've jumped off that wharf. Cool. As you can tell by the clothes we were wearing, it wasn't exactly summer when we went, so we didn't really feel like jumping off it ourselves. Alright guys, I hope you found that video useful and interesting, and if you want to find more useful and interesting content, you can head over to nzpocketguide.com. There it is, up in the corner. Yeah, we have loads of information on there and loads of articles about travelling in New Zealand and planning the perfect road trip around the country, whether you are on a family road trip or a budget road trip, luxury, honeymoon, even foodie travel. We cover all that good stuff on nzpocketguide.com, so make sure to go check that out, and otherwise we'll see you in the next video.